YouTube. Hello everyone. This is weird. This is something that I didn't think I'd be doing for a very long time. But Instagram, TikTok, short form content is going up as we like it to. A lot quicker than I would like it to. To be honest, it's quite surreal. So inevitably DMs. Where's the long form content? Where's the YouTube? Where's this? Where's this? We love to see vlogs. We want to see this. So I'm doing it. And now I realise through filming YouTube and whatnot, it's quite a lot. It's quite time consuming. But yeah, I'm doing it for you guys. Things I do for you lot. So I have a full upper day today. I'm gonna do a voiceover, a walkthrough of the full upper day. Be a big kind of valuable video. A lot of little nuggets of information there. A lot of little tips in terms of technique, execution. You know what I preach. So without further ado, let's get into it. Yes, so just to start off, I like to do a little bit of activation work. I have some more heavy kind of growth inducing pullovers later on in the session, as you will see. But this is just like literally very, very low intensity, just get some blood in the lat. Obviously we're still performing our pullovers as we always would, but it's very light, very kind of just moving, really, literally just moving, getting the blood flow into the lat, like I said, and just sort of lubricating those joints, making it so I can actually feel my lat when I go into the first exercise. It's as easy as that, really. I do this twice. Obviously, you don't want to see both sets of activation, so we'll get into what you're actually here for. Okay, first exercise, we have got a chest-supported single arm lat pull down. I just like to isolate my lat before I go into sort of my heavier rowing movements, just so I can feel it a little bit more, so I'm not using a load of connective tissue when I go into my heavy rows and things like that. I like to keep this sort of semi-supinated position with my hand. I don't like being fully neutral, and then it just means I can drive that elbow a little bit further into my lat, get that arm path a little bit closer. They always say tuck your elbow into your back pocket, just so I can get that's slightly more lat from it. I always find that I feel it a lot more than being completely neutral, and you can have a tendency to sort of come out. I like to just keep it there to make sure that I'm keeping all that tension on the lat. And obviously, we take it all the way there, like we take every set all the way there. Very simply. We just keep driving that elbow back, feeling the lat, getting a lot of blood flow in there. This is an exercise that I've stripped back quite a few times in terms of load and things like that. Because I did get quite heavy. I nearly got to the stack and then I pulled it back again because I just sort of lose that feeling in the lat, and this is something that we need to really isolate, and we have plenty of time later on in the upper day to get that sort of yeah buddy heavy rowing in, which you will see. And moving on to the other arm, exactly the same again, that kind of semi-supinated position, driving that elbow straight back. You can see how long it actually takes me to strap into this, because I like it like really, really tight. I don't like it feeling like it's going to go anywhere. I don't really want to feel the kind of D-handle in my hand at all, and that's why I use the really, really thin ones. It just allows me to take forearm out, because my forearms are quite strong, they're decently big compared to my back, and they tend to take over on a lot of things. It's just genetics, like my forearms are quite large compared to my back. My back is shit. I mean, I have decent sized arms and a shit back, so we need to really like isolate it as much as possible. Make sure you're moving the bench with this as well. You'll notice that the bench is in a different position. We want that to line up. We want everything to be completely lined up with the lat, because what we'll see plenty of time, they'll have the right hand side perfectly lined up, and then they'll switch to the left and they'll be pulling sort of in like this because they just don't want to move the bench over. So that is a very, very key point with this exercise, of course. Moving on to what we all want to see, the mid-back row. I've been using the hammer strength mid-back row, been using the kind of lower handles strapping in. You'll see how long it takes me to strap in here as well. They put a new grip on the machine in my gym on one side. So on the left-hand side, it takes me forever to strap in. And then on the right-hand side, I'll be in a second. Because it's just the new grip. I can't like my straps are so good that they sort of stick onto it and they don't actually move. So yeah, I'll just let you enjoy this set, to be honest, because there's not really many pointers I can give here. What I can do is just sort of the tempo of the movement that you'll see. You can see how I'm being really explosive when I'm pulling back. There's no point just moving the weight really, really slow for no reason. That's not what we do this for. We still want to be really explosive with our heavy movements, but what we do want to do is fight that weight back on the way down. We don't want to just let it drop, right? Take all that tension off the back. This is going to target the whole back. So we don't just want all that tension to just completely drop off. We want to be explosive when we pull, but then we want to fight that all the way back. And you'll be able to see with the lat pull down as well, I was fighting it all the way on the way up. And we just want to keep that tension on the whole time. That constant mechanical tension is what's going to grow us the muscle, of course. I do top set, back offset for every movement, as you'll see, but I'm not going to take you through that. No one wants to see the same movement twice. Or that's all it is. It's the same movement, same tempo, same intensity, just more reps. And that's all it is. This is where we move on to the world's most awkward set. This is a superset of a neutral grip row and a lat pullover. The amount of people that come over and say, are you using this? Are you using... Yes, I am. And filming is hard enough anyway. Doing a superset is hard enough anyway. Put them both together, especially in my gym, everyone just thinks you're an idiot. So this was fun. It was very, very fun to try and find how to actually set this up and get this to be able to get both in the frame. Because I've never actually filmed this before, like for form clips and things like that. So it was an interesting setup. Having people come over and saying, "How you use this?" It's not as bad as what I've had before, where someone's literally just came over, not even asked, and took the attachment off the machine while I was mid-set. So that wasn't the most effective superset. This didn't happen here. But yeah, it was still quite awkward, especially the back off, which I didn't film. So this was okay. You can see I'm just driving my elbows back. You'll find that the actual lever for the lat is a lot shorter than you think it is. A lot of people are pulling all the way back here. It's not needed. If you were watching there, you'll be able to see that I'm stretching, yes, all the way forward, and I'm stretching my lat out, but then I'm only pulling back sort of so my elbow is parallel with my side. And you can see here as well, it's the same here in the opposite plane. We don't want to be reaching fully and taking all that tension off the lat straight away. I'm only reaching until I'm about in front of my head. And then I'm just squeezing through the lat, rinsing that lat, getting the last few contractions out the lat that I can without, completely taking all the tension off and stretching just to try and get that extra stretch. There was a period in time where everyone was all over the stretch of the muscle. You are getting no more stretch on your lat by being here and being here. You're not. All that is a little bit of extra shoulder rotation. You're not actually stretching your lat any further, and you can feel if you're at full stretch there, you go further, you're still at full stretch. There's no more. All it does is take the tension off, which is not what we want on the lat, of course. Right, moving on, I'm beginning to think that I might film this a little bit close. I did actually move it back as well, so imagine how close this would have been before. But Smith machine is something that's very hard to film on. I'm getting my bearings with YouTube, alright? Give me time. But this is something I can give a lot of pointers to here, because I like to think I'm quite good at pressing through my chest. So we really want that pause at the bottom. Or how I'm really controlling that change of direction. We don't want to bounce. You're very, very vulnerable on a Smith press. As we're all aware, you can see the climate of people right now. Jack Eagles with his pec, we can see it. So we just want to be really careful when we're Smith pressing or pressing in general. It's a very vulnerable position for the chest because you are getting that full stretch, which you can't get on anything else. So watch how I control the change of direction and pause at the bottom here. I drive the same plane of motion all the way up. I'm not changing the tempo. I'm not changing the speed. I'm not changing the movement pattern that I'm actually doing at the shoulder. I'm keeping my elbows tucked in, bending that bar, and I'm just driving straight forward. That is a lovely freeze frame, by the way. That is beautiful. But yeah, I'm just completely driving straight through all pec and trying to get that adduction of the shoulder and squeezing that pec together at the top. That is how we're going to get the most out of our chest when we are pressing, my friends. And this is the odd time where I am going to show you a back off as well. Just so you can see how I actually keep the discipline here with my back offs. I've been a victim in the past to sort of rushing my high rep sets. I think I got 15 here, as you can see, because I'm moving pussy weight. But yeah, you can see it's a little bit more explosive, yes, because the weight's lighter, and I'm producing maximum force throughout all my lifts to get that weight up as quickly as possible. But that doesn't mean that I'm bouncing out of the bottom in the change of direction. That doesn't mean I'm bouncing back down when I'm coming down. I'm still controlling the weight down and then exploding out with maximum force. I'm still getting that shoulder reduction across the chest and squeezing that pec as much as I can. The last thing we want to do on our high rep sets is just keep bouncing out, because again, that puts us in a very vulnerable position and it takes all the tension off the pec, and we're not actually going to grow any chest. We're going to grow a very big, heavy press, but we're not actually going to grow any chest. That's what we want from our pressing movements, of course. We're just going to grow massive front delts, we're just going to grow massive arms, and we're going to get no chest, and we're going to look weird, and we don't want that. So we want all that tension going through the pec as much as we can, even on the back off sets. Keep your discipline, guys, and that is something that I need to actually tell myself sometimes as well. But I just wanted to show you that since I have been keeping my discipline and I have been practicing what I preach, my chest has grown even at this point in the diet. And like I say, at this point in the diet, I don't want to be exploding out of movements. You will probably see me in the off season. I will probably run this press up pretty heavy, like I did before. I got up to 2 plates before. A lot worse technique than that, granted. But I will probably, in this off season, be running this up to 2 plates, 2.5 plates. I will not only be in a much more sensible position to actually push that and not be really, really sort of skinny and vulnerable to injury, but I will still be able to keep that tension on the pec. I will have developed the skill acquisition to actually stay accurate, which is what the best do. They are explosive, but they are equally accurate. And you'll see a lot of people in the gym just sort of throwing weight around with no accuracy because they haven't slowed it down, got the contraction, and actually built that skill acquisition on the exercise yet. So top tip, slow it down, strip the weight back, and then we can build it back up. And the rate you can build that back up is going to be frightening, right? That is still what I'm doing right now, just really honing in on my technique. So then when I get into my off season, which is very, very soon, by the way, probably when this video is out, I will be in my off season, which is exciting. I will be able to run this up along with my shoulder presses and things like that, get them really, really heavy and get strong, and, get the fun back into training that we all want. Yes, guys, moving on to my side lateral movement. Now, not naming names, but there are people in the industry that say, I can help you how to perform your side laterals, and they don't perform the side laterals very well. So I can give you a few pointers here. Everyone who's listening, we pause at the bottom, we keep that tension there, and we keep all the tension on the side delt. We don't want to be bouncing out just like every other movement. We want to keep our elbows completely straight. You can see my arms are as straight as they go. I have this weird thing where my arms don't fully straighten, but, as straight as my arms will go. And we are wanting to paint the walls either side of us. We don't want to be raising up and over like a Y raise. We want to be keeping it. It's a side lateral still, and painting the walls either side of us. And you see, it looks like the reps are moving very, very quickly because the weight is light, but you'll see in a minute it does drop off quite intensely here. But I'm still driving through. My execution isn't changing at all, and I'm still keeping all that tension on that side delt, because the last thing we want is start shifting tension to the traps, shifting it to the connective tissue. We don't want that. We want to keep all the tension on the side delt, because if we start shifting it to other places, number one, that's how you get injured, and number two, that's how your delt stays shit. We want to drive as much tension as we can into the side delt for the delts to grow. We don't want the connective tissue around the delt to grow. We want the delt muscle to grow. So we want to keep all the tension in there and not just start swinging the weight around the second it gets hard, because that's how your delts stay shit. Yes, guys, pec deck. This is my top set, I believe. My back off set is a drop set in this there, just to get that kind of activation ready. This is actually comes before my pressing. I don't know why this is here in the order, but I'm going to keep it here anyway. But this is one that I can give a lot of pointers to. A lot of people tend to get a lot of bicep when they're pec decking. That's because their elbows are bent and they're crab arming. It's not what we want. I see this in the gym every day. Every time I go into the gym. There's someone crab arming a pec deck, ego lifting. I don't know if you saw on the stat before, but that is very light. It's very, very lightweight for someone of my musculature, right? We want to be keeping our arms completely straight, that you can see here, and driving bicep into pec. We're not driving hand to hand. We're not driving wrist to wrist even. We're driving bicep into pec, getting that adduction, getting that squeeze on the pec. And that's how we take it away from the biceps, away from the shoulders, and get all pec. We keep a nice proud chest. We stay upright, and we drive bicep into pec, bicep into pec. And that is how you activate your chest. Implement those few cues, and I promise you, you will feel your chest more. So much more. If you are someone who struggles with your feeling your chest in the pec deck, proud chest, bicep into pec. If you can implement those two things, you will feel your chest so much more. You'll feel your chest maximally contract, because that's what we want. That is what will be happening if you correctly implement those cues. You'll be using pretty much nothing else to move the weight. This is why pec deck is such a great exercise for the chest, because you'll be using literally nothing else. In your pressing, you can only bias. I'm a big believer, when you're doing a fly, you can fully isolate that chest. It's the only movement where we can fully isolate the chest. So we want to be making the most of the stretch and of the contraction there. That's why you could see that my movement was so slow. Obviously, set's done, but if you were watching before, you will be able to see how much I was pausing at the bottom and squeezing at the top, because I'm really milking both ends of that movement, because it's the only time we can truly isolate the pec in the short and in the lengthened. Yes, everyone, bit more of the boring isolation work now. You can't really see here, but I do switch to my right arm very, very quickly. I'm not a big believer in waiting too long in between switching arms, especially because my right arm is stronger than my left arm. I'm matching reps that way. I don't really want to be kind of waiting, and then my CNS doesn't get that fried from doing a single arm tricep pushdown. Like, if you are knackered doing a single arm tricep pushdown, get on the stairs, bro. Like, yeah, I don't need to rest a ridiculous amount of time. I just go straight into it, straight into the other side, and now you can actually see how I'm performing this. I want the cable to be straight up. I want it to be directly above my joint. I don't want it to be pulling back. I don't want the line of force to be anything than straight down and through my tricep. I sort of have this cue that I sort of picked up myself. I didn't really get it from anywhere, but I sort of roll my knuckle forward, and that just allows me to stay completely stacked rather than letting my wrist sort of bend back and putting that tension more into the front of my forearm rather than through my tricep. And I just drive straight down in a straight line. I don't change my wrist angle at all. I don't change the angle of my hand at all. And I just drive straight down. Think about bringing that elbow back, stretching the tricep, and then just pushing straight through, driving straight through. And you'll be able to provide maximal force straight through your tricep, rather than sort of, a lot of people think of a tricep pushdown as sort of like arcing. We don't want that. We want to be pushing straight down as much force through the tricep as we possibly can, because tension is king. It doesn't matter whether we feel it more another way. Tension through the tricep is king. And if you can just pull that back, pull the elbow back, stretch as much as we can, and drive that force through the tricep, we're going to be growing as much tricep as we possibly can. And I like to think that I have a bit of, credentials on that, because my triceps take up 90% of my body to this day. I think I've just got a natural kind of affinity with tricep training. I don't want to sound arrogant when I say that, because I am small, right? My chest is shit, my back is shit, But when it comes to tricep training, I'm all right at it. I have decent triceps, we'll say that. So we want to be pushing straight through the tricep, as much tension as we possibly can, not using any of that front delt that we can use when we start to arc, just straight down in a plane of motion. And also, this is similar to the single arm lat pull down. We want to be moving from side to side. We don't want to just be staying right in the middle and pushing forward through across, because that's going to contract our front delt. We want to be keeping it straight line and just pushing straight through the tricep, and exact same with the other side. Mimic the movement on the other side. And I was actually using the cable to brace against as well. and that will allow us to provide even more force through the tricep, which is going to mean more growth. If we can push more force through the tricep, more tension, means we get bigger triceps, and that's exactly what we want from this movement. Yes, everyone, final tricep movement. This is an overhead extension. This machine is beautiful, by the way. It is the exact movement pattern that we want for the triceps. You'll see I'm pausing at the bottom and then just exploding out, contracting, pausing at the bottom. These are sets of 15 plus. I've got 2 sets of 15 plus in this day. It's just sort to really like finish me off in terms of the tricep. This is my last exercise. I don't know why it's changing the order of the exercises. I have my bicep movement that you're going to see next before this one. This is the last movement. But yeah, all I can really give you here is keep those elbows tucked in, as far in as they will go with that shoulder rotation. You'll sort of feel your lats kind of contract a little bit just to keep you in place. As long as those elbows aren't moving, whatever feels comfortable, right? And then we just stop at the bottom, and then we can extend out. And again, like we always say, apply as much force as possible and take it all the way there, which is hard when the rep range is that high. But that's what it is. We've just got to stay disciplined, and you'll see I fail pretty quickly there anyway. Failure on your high rep sets is always going to be pretty abrupt, just with all the blood flow and things like that. But that is something that I'm progressing at quite a frightening rate, which is really good and weird for in a diet, but I'll take it. When off season comes, I'm gonna get 4 plates aside on that thing and just start repping it out. I'm not gonna do that. Please don't listen to me. Yes, guys, last exercise here that it's showing you. This wasn't the last exercise of the day, like I've already explained, but this is the last exercise it's showing you anyway. Just a cable easy bar curl. I've been trying to really kind of isolate. I've stripped this movement back a lot, and I've been really trying to isolate my bicep and sort of feel my bicep a little bit more on this, because I've been prone to chasing load here in the past, and you've got to think there's only so much of this that you can do. There's only so much you can optimize this, but like I've still been trying to feel it a little bit more, and it's been working, to be fair. I've been getting a much better pump and a much better blood flow doing it this way, where I used to lean back quite a lot and sort of basically cheat curl, to be honest. That's it. That's literally what I was doing. So I've started to really kind of take my elbows away, sort of roll my shoulders forward a little bit more into a much more natural position, rather than keeping them back and sort of ego lifting. I've been rolling them into a much more natural position, just whatever feels comfortable, and then just driving. Like I say, there's only so much you can really optimize this movement. As long as your elbow is flexing and extending and you're squeezing at the top and you're letting it down and fighting against it, like we always say, then you're going to be getting some bicep out of it. Bicep training is very, very simple, guys. But yeah, that is it. That's all I've got to say. Thank you very much to the one person who's actually made it to the end of the video. I do not expect anyone to watch me ramble on about my training session for this long. But if you have, and you found value in this video and you want more long form content, drop a like, obviously subscribe, all of that, shameless plug, all of that, and drop a comment as well. That's what I care about, right? I don't care about the numbers and the likes and the subs and etc, etc. I care about what I'm actually bringing to people and the education that I'm bringing. So if you did get value out of it and you did enjoy it, then make sure to comment and tell me, and I will actually reply to every single comment. I promise. I'll try. I can't imagine I'm going to get very many, so I will definitely reply to your comment. I'll do my best to make sure I can get back to everyone. If you have any questions, obviously head over to my Instagram and DM me as well. I'm very happy to talk to anyone. If you've ever met me, and if you've ever talked to me on Instagram or anything like that, which a lot of you have anyway, a lot of you that will be watching the video have definitely spoke to me on Instagram before, or on TikTok or anything like that. You know that I'm very happy to reply, and I've got time for everyone. And yeah, thank you very much to the one person who actually made it this far into the video. I'm going to try and get more YouTube out. Let me know what you want to see down below. I'm not a bottomless pit of ideas. I'm not, the cleverest of geezers. So if you have any ideas for me of what you want to see, let me know and I will definitely do it. Maybe, unless it's something really weird, and then I probably won't. But yeah, Thank you very much, guys, if you actually made it this far into the video. See you in the next one.